Egypt's foreign minister discussed the situation in the Middle East with his Moroccan counterpart. Egypt reiterates its steadfast opposition to the ongoing Israeli obstruction of humanitarian needs. And Egypt's tourism minister witnesses the first recovery operation of sunken antiquities in 25 years at Abu Qir area in Alexandria. Foreign Minister Badr Ablati held talks with his Moroccan counterpart Nasser Bourita on a number of regional issues, foremost among them the developments in the Palestinian cause, as well as the situations in Syria, Lebanon, Libya and Sudan. At the African level, the two ministers discussed the importance of continuing joint efforts to strengthen mechanisms of African joint action and the role of the African Union in addressing the continent's issues in the areas of peace, security and development. They also emphasized supporting the AU Agenda 2063 and working to advance the strategic interests of African countries. Al-Azhar Observatory for Combating Extremism condemned the terrorist attack that targeted a mosque during dawn prayers in Katsina State, northern Nigeria, which resulted in the deaths of 27 people and the injury of others. The observatory noted that the method of execution reflects the hallmarks of the ISIS terrorist group, which is known for targeting places for worship, especially Sufi mosques, as part of its strategy to spread fear and destabilize societies. Emir of Qatar Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani has bid farewell to Egyptian Ambassador Amr El Shirbini, whose term in Doha is ending. The Qatari Emir praised the ambassador's dedicated efforts to strengthen bilateral ties, relations, and foster cooperation between Qatar and Egypt, wishing him success ahead. Ambassador Shirbini expressed deep gratitude for the support he received, noting its key role in his diplomatic achievements. The meeting reflects the flourishing partnership and expanding collaboration across various sectors and shared regional initiatives. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has reiterated the nation's steadfast opposition to the ongoing Israeli war on Gaza and the obstruction of humanitarian aid. He emphasized Egypt's rejection of any measures aimed at displacing Palestinians or liquidating their cause. Madbouli also highlighted intensive Egyptian efforts with mediators to achieve a comprehensive ceasefire and de-escalate regional tensions to spare its people from further conflict. His remarks came during a meeting with his Japanese counterpart while attending the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama. During the meeting, Madbouli reviewed Egypt's ongoing efforts with other mediators to achieve a comprehensive ceasefire and support de-escalation across the Middle East. He emphasized that Egypt will continue these endeavors to reduce regional tensions and spare its people from further conflict and stress. Japan's Prime Minister has called on Israel to adhere to international law and work to improve the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. He also expressed appreciation and support for Egypt's efforts towards a ceasefire and the release of detainees. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, attended closing session of the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development. Discussions included Africa's current economic growth trends, the importance of initiatives that promote investments and means to boost cooperation between Japanese and African businesses. The session also reviewed sustainable approaches to resolving conflicts and crises in Africa, with a focus on cybersecurity threats, maritime piracy, violent extremism, and transitional organized crime. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli affirmed to the governor of the Japan Bank for International Cooperation that there is a significant current opportunity to establish a Japanese industrial zone in Egypt's Suez Canal economic zone. He also outlined the many advantages of investing in the Suez Canal economic zone, especially the ability for companies operating there to directly export to Europe and neighboring markets. The Prime Minister also stressed the government's commitment to increasing Egyptian exports in the coming period, noting that the incentives offered to investors serve as a strong attraction for more Japanese companies to operate in Egypt. And for further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by Al Ahram managing editor Mohammed Azzeddin. Welcome to Qnews. Sir, how do you view the future of Egyptian-Japanese relations in light of the Prime Minister's current visit to Japan?
Thanks a lot for having me in Qnews. Actually, the relationships between Egypt and Japan continue to be flourished through the international organizations and in governmental institutions in Egypt and Japan. During the last 10 years, we increased the cooperation between Egypt and Japan, and significantly, we are working on different projects that we are having with the Japanese companies in Egypt. Actually, we are having the Japanese experience as a different one at the level of education, industrialization, and technology transfer. And this is a kind of call from the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, to the co-partner, the Japanese co-partner. This is a kind of a start for us, a possible start to attract the investments from Japanese companies into the Suez Canal and the industrial zone and the economic zone. We can create a zone and build up a zone between Egypt and Japan, with having other targets like technology transformation and transferring to use the renewable and clean energy, and to support the education and training as a basic target to increase the added value to the Egyptian industry and to increase the exports from Egypt. So many international companies will have the opportunity to have investments in the Suez Canal, since we are having the suitable atmosphere there, and we can make the best use of this opportunity and make the best use of the law to give interests and benefits for the foreign companies, so that we are expecting an increase in the economic cooperation and investments between Egypt and Japan.
How could Japanese investments in Egypt be enhanced in the coming period, sir?
In fact, we are having so many matters that we are discussing. Cooperation between Japan and Egypt through the private sector in education. And we are having cooperation with the Japanese companies for 10 years. And we are having trainings and workshops and that we are conducting and holding after the facilities that we are proposing for the foreign investment in Egypt. Also, we are supporting the exports at a high level. Regarding the relationship between Egypt and Japan, we are having so many opportunities that is coming, and we are having so different meetings that the Prime Minister is holding with our partners there, and to have the investment and the cooperation between the Egyptian and Japanese companies.
Sir, how can Japan, as a major industrial nation, exert pressure on the international community to help end the war in the Gaza Strip?
Basically, Japan is a major state, and actually it has the pressure to practice since it has so many positive relationships with other major states. So I guess this is a kind of power for the Japanese voice with using the relationships, especially the relationship with the European Union and the US and the Middle East and Israel as well. So they can have this kind of a pressure and to have diplomatic efforts from the Japanese side to reach a ceasefire and to end the suffering of the Palestinian people and to deliver the humanitarian aids for the Palestinian people inside Gaza Strip, since they are suffering from starvation and killing. And through the meetings that we are having today between the Prime Minister and the co-partner in Japan, they assured that they should reach a ceasefire, and they are supporting this as a solution to start the construction in Gaza again and to eliminate the military operations against Palestinian people in Gaza. So Japan plays a huge part and an important part as a diplomatic player in this situation after having this common opinion between Egypt and Japan.
That was Mohammed Azzeddine from Cairo, Al Ahram managing editor. Thank you very much for joining us on Qnews, sir. Mohammed Abdul Latif, Minister of Education and Technical Education, held talks with the President of the United Nations University in Tokyo to explore ways to enhance cooperation between the two sides in the fields of education, programming and artificial intelligence. The minister invited the president of the Japanese university to consider the possibility of establishing a branch of the university in Egypt focusing on artificial intelligence and technology as part of states' efforts to develop education and align it with the latest global fields. Tourism and Antiquities Minister Sharif Fathi witnessed the first recovery operation of sunken antiquities in 25 years at Abu Qir area in the Mediterranean city of Alexandria. The minister thanked all workers at the Sunken Antiquities Department at Alexandria City Hall for their efforts to complete the retrieval operation successfully. The Underwater Antiquities Department has recovered several artifacts from beneath the waters of the Mediterranean Sea in Abu Qir area in eastern Alexandria Governorate. Energy Mohammed Salahuddin Mustafa, Minister of State for Military Production, affirmed that the ministry is committed to continuously developing its defense products and keeping pace with the latest global technologies. He revealed that the Ministry of Military Production is currently finalizing the setup of a production line equipped with machinery for the K9A1EG Howitzer system at the Armored Vehicles Production and Repair Factory, Factory 200 Military, which is considered one of the most advanced artillery systems in the world. That's the end of our news bulletin for this hour. Here's a quick recap of what we have been discussing. Egypt's foreign minister discussed the situation in the Middle East with his Moroccan counterpart. Egypt reiterates its steadfast opposition to the ongoing Israeli obstruction of humanitarian aid. And Egypt's tourism minister witnesses the first recovery operation of sunken antiquities in 25 years at the Abu Qir area in Alexandria. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest development.